Okay, hello everyone. We're on lesson 4. So today we're gonna talk about how to import an ex4 file because if we go to Dreema here, we have click onto my indicators up here. Let me just load a project. This one. So you go to projects and load. So here we go to my indicators. You can see that there is this absolute strength averages MTF. That was after I added this custom indicator in. But unlike the QQE here, where we have all these parameters, this is an ex4 file, so it's got nothing. So this is what we're going to have to do. You go to MT4. So we're going to do two indicators today. So we're going to do the volatility hypertrend and absolute strength fires multi-time frame. So we click into indicators here and we go into absolute strengths here. So you can see here, the 123, that would be an int. So the data type for that variable or that input is an integer, so int. And then length and signal period, as you can see the decimal point, this would be a double. And then so here we're back to integer again. And then down here, we see that this is true or false. So this would be a Boolean. And if we go into volatility hypertrend, this AB is a string, integer, double. And then we have these visual settings here, uptrend width, downtrend width. So we have a whole lot of other things. So as you can see, these are Boolean. This is integer, and then this is color. So what we need to do is we need to replicate these items in Dreema. So let's go here, absolute strength over here. So if we go back to Dreema, and let's just put this here for convenience. So we have absolute strength. So we have new. So we have in time frame. So just to and we have double click new. So we click new here to add another one. And we have another int. We have another int. And then we have boo. So to approximate, I'm just going to call this time frame. This one is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is how you count. Remember, we're in a coding basis. We count the first value 1. Instead of counting at 1, we counted 0. And since this is an int, you can only have 0 to 1000 or 9 or something. So we just put it as 0. So calc 0, 1. So let's put 1 for the time being. Double. So go length. Signal. Average. And then we just do price. and then interpolate, and just go true. The price to use is, yep, 0. We'll just use 0 for now. To close, and then the average, we would be, wow, okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 23. So we count from 0 and start, and we'll do 23. And then that's all we have here for the absolute strength averages. Then if we go to here, you see that we have all these buffers of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we want to do is we need to go to here, we click on the middle mouse, so we know this is smooth bulls and this is smooth bears. So where we want the crossover in this example, it would be from this bar. So it's this bar crosses over, and you see on the data window, the bears just was above, and now, okay, so we need to use this buffer. So it would be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 2 and 3 is the one we want in terms of the buffer for Dreema. So if we go back there, so we go to here, so we have a total of 6 buffers. So bull, bears. So even though, so this is why we prefer to use the MQL4 file, so we're able to go in and look at the code and figure out what you need to, what those items are, and when you upload it, it will automatically populate. But sometimes this is just the nature of it. So go and update. Okay. So what we do here is let's just make a new block. And then, oh, don't forget we need to do the inputs as well. So this is using that same template. So what we do is the items that we need. We'll go here. So the items that we need for this absolute strength indicator are these items. So you'll go to you would click up here in the constants to access the constants menu. So what we would do is we have 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 of them. So we just go 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's called as time. So we just call them ASA time, ASA calculation, G for signal, ASA, S for smooth, and then ASA average, and then ASA P for price, and then ASA I. And then what we make sure here that this is int, double, 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 int, and boo. And it would just make this as time frame. uh, the length, the average period, price to use, and then a so we have here, we have, remember we had 0, and then 1 was stochastic, and then length is 10, 5, 5, 23, 0, and true. So go ahead and update, and that's done. We won't need to put anything in variables because we're just using the same testing framework. So now we'll go in here. So basically, we left click here, my indicators, and then my indicators. So we want smooth bulls to be bigger than smooth bears for a cell, and we want that to be a crossover. So we click here and do that. We go to the more settings. We right click on the candle ID to make sure that we have the correct candle. And then we right click, time, calculation. So right click again, length, smooth. Rinse and repeat. We go update. That's good. Let's right click and disconnect these blocks since we don't need the QQE for the time being. So just go and drag this here. So we have double checking that, copy, right click, copy, right click, paste, and then we reverse this for the cell signal. And we update, left click to drag the connectors on. And then we go to the empty folder. Make sure we get the data folder directory. Copy that. Go back here. Export to MQ4. MQR4. And then we go to the experts. And then we save it here. Then we go to MT4. We tap F4 to open the item. And then what we do here is we go to the simple 2 indicator test. We click compile. It appears we have an error, so let's go to here. We just delete the 1 because that might have been a little small error I did on my side. So let's click compile. That's fine. And then we just need to go back to Dreema just to make sure that my constants nope, not the constants. So it might have been my indicators. Okay, so just to be careful, make sure the code runs properly. Now go back to MT4. We go down here, strategy tester, 2 indicator test. We use visual mode, daily, and then we try. Let's hope this works. It doesn't appear to be doing anything for the time being, so let's just skip on ahead and see what the journal says. It says cannot open the data, so let's just see what it's trying to say here. Somehow it says it can't open the absolute strength indicator, so we may have to go back to the drawing board here. So absolute strength average MTF4. If we go to the file and indicators, got it. So what was the issue is that we have this as a space, but somehow FX Dreema is saying that this is an underscore. So let's just hold it right there. Let's just stop. And we go back to Dreema. We go to my indicators. And then we make sure we get the naming convention absolutely correct. Now we update. And we go to here. And I'm afraid it looks like I'm going to have to do all of that again. So just bear with me here. Smooth bears and smooth bulls here. Yep. And there we go. Period. And again, update. Disconnect this block. Delete this block. Make it easier for us. Copy, paste, double click, flick the direction, and we have the south side. Now we do the rinse and repeat again. Actually, wait, let's just go to the constants. Okay, so let's go ahead and export that to MQ4. Override that one. Go back to MT4. Head up the item. Go to indicator test. And then with the compile button, seems like everything is fine. Okay, so let's try again. And there we go. And that is how you get a EX4 indicator to work. It takes a little bit more trouble, but it takes a little while. So what we can do here is do settings, and we just skip, and we can just roughly see that the crossover signal is working. So here we have a crossover, this, it crossed over, then it hits the cell with the next signal. So before I log off, I we'll do this one. So here we can edit title, we can say ASA condition, good to give it some context, ASA cell, and we click done. What you can do here is drag the mouse, pull it down, disconnect, and then since we have this existing QQE, and so this is how you do a two indicator test. Basically, you build those blocks, you drag it down, and that's it. And you have as long as the QQE conditions meet, as well as this. So in terms of this one, in terms of QQE, what we can do is we can say, instead of a crossover, we can just say, as long as the green line is above the red line, we update. And that's how usually a C2 would work, confirmation 2 would work in the system. We do that, we click update, and then we just do that as an MQ4. And just do that as iteration 1. Go back to the MT4, click into the editor, experts, this one, click F7 to compile, looking good. And then we go here, two indicator test 1. And then we start. Looks like we're looking good. So we'll go ahead and skip ahead and see if everything in terms of sense check is working just fine. So as you can see, it took a buy signal as the QQE was above. It took a sell signal as the QQE was there. And then, so in this instance, the QQE was above. And so somehow in these settings, it appears that these two are very much in sync as I have just used the default settings. And then so here's one. So here, this is where we would have a sell signal, but since we're in the trade already, we won't get it. So this a buy signal fired, since this was a QQE was above at this point, but yeah. But I think if we, as long as it's okay. So for example, let's lengthen the QQE. So go to expert properties, to indicator test, QQE. Uh, let's say how the QQE works is, I don't know, let's just add the QQE in here, and we lengthen this guy. So QQE inputs, RSI period, let's just give it 28. 10. Okay, this should give it some length to it. So report, we didn't work well, but we don't mind. This is just an experiment. So we edit 10, 28, click OK, and then we start again. And since we already know that it works, we just might as well just call it skip. And there we go. It appears that these two indicators seem to be calculating very, very similar. Go ahead, play around, and do that. And do your settings. But basically, this is how you can get a two indicator test to work. And I think it's a pretty long video, so it's a lot to take in. So feel free to watch it a few times, leave some comments, let me know what you need to explain, and that'll be that. Thank you.